Hey everybody, this is Ron. The other night I was sitting in the car in a parking lot waiting for my wife to finish her grocery shopping. I recorded some audio then instead of video. So today what you're going to get is some audio with some pictures of my game collection. So I hope you enjoy. It's nighttime, so it's hard to see. So I decided to record audio instead and just give you some pictures to look at for this YouTube video. So what I'm doing today is giving you a summary of what happened really in the last 2 game sessions for my Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in the Eberron setting. I made a video catching everybody up from the beginning of the campaign until now, and this video is the summary of the last 2 sessions. The party, minus Kath, went to a play in Upper Sharn. After the play, they were assaulted by a pair of drow and a bugbear. But as it turns out, in the combat, Twinger was mentally assaulted by the bugbear, who had a glassy-eyed stare as if he was lifeless. They defeated the drow and bugbear, and they found out that the bugbear was controlled by an intellect devourer. The group defeated the intellect devourer and interrogated one of the drow. They found out from the drow that the intellect devourer found his victim at Harold's Last Hope in the downstairs district of the city from instructions from a being known as Cephalon. The 3 of them went down to downstairs and Harold's Last Hope, where they spoke to a female half-orc who mentioned that upon the revelation of the name Cephalos to the party, that there was a guy named Ivan that would be able to help them out. This led them to do some further investigation, but while they were there doing their investigation, they discovered that they were being watched by a warforged. Marv recognized this warforged as Crisscross. Septimus, though he could not see Crisscross, he did hear the name before from an ally made in a previous adventure. They tried to track Crisscross, but she got away. The party then continued their investigation, and they ended up in an inn titled the Cricket House, owned by a gnome named Tarquin. I decided to use part of an adventure from Dungeon Magazine to give me something to work with and lessen my prep. The adventure is called The Hall of Harsh Reflections, and it is part of the Age of Worms adventure path. I'll put a link down in the description. Depending on how things go, I may run some more of it. We'll see. Anyway, back to the adventure. Meanwhile, Keth was in a different part of Upper Sharn, Sky's Edge, where there was a small gatekeeper refuge. Keth debriefed his superiors on what he found out about Maxine and Sayanthrax, and White Wind, his superior, gave Keth the task of going down into the lower city and looking for a missing member of the order named Rainfred. So that's what he did. He went down to the lower city, ended up in downstairs, and eventually found his way to the Cricket House. His investigation led him to talk to the proprietor, Tarquin, where they went to a private back room to have a conversation. And this is where things get interesting. The rest of the party walked in the Cricket House while Keth was in the back room talking to Tarquin. Of course, they didn't know that, but what they did see was their friend and what looks like the proprietor, and Keth stabbed him. There was a ruckus, and it was initiative. The party was able to overcome the chaos of the barroom brawl. They recognized the imposter, except for Twinga, who almost killed his friend, and everyone amazingly was mature and calm about. I guess that's what you get when players really trust each other. All of them, but the druid player, spend a good bit of time with each other outside of D&D, and even that player we have spent some quality time with playing games and whatnot at the local game store, so we have good relationships. Player relationships matter when it comes to role-playing games. I cannot stress that enough. The party interrogated the doppelganger. It turns out one of his identities was Ivan. He also knew where the hideout was where Cephalos was headquartered. With all 4 members of the party back together, they investigated the place. Septimus's homunculus flew in to spy and almost got killed by an octopus-like creature. The group fought a couple of guards and a mimic sitting out in front of the warehouse, and that's where we ended the session. It was a really fun session. There was a lot of drama, particularly in the bar fight. The druid player had a fun time getting some spotlight time. Now up to this point, Marv and Septimus were driving the story, and now it's Keth's turn. The barbarian player is content with sitting back and being a spectator. He likes the fact that the other players who enjoy spotlight time more get the spotlight time. He certainly doesn't mind being in the spotlight, as I've had him in previous campaigns, and he's certainly comfortable with it. But it's something that he does not look for, nor he feels the need for. There are some players like that. If someone just wants to sit back and watch the show, let them, especially when they vocalize that they're doing that on purpose. There are certainly plenty of opportunities to give other people spotlight time, and I feel I do a pretty good job at it. But some people just don't want the spotlight time, whether it's because they're giving somebody else a chance to shine, or maybe they're introverted and just like watching the show. So you let them do that. It's fine. One of the things that I'm watching in this campaign is that the youngest player in our group seems to be growing as a role player. And what I mean by that is not that he is making improvements in his in-character speech and mannerisms. I mean that he is learning not to be the I have to be in every scene type of player. That is really encouraging to see. I have 4 different players with 4 different needs, and managing that can be a challenge. It is a fun challenge and the type of thing that really gets me going as a game master. So next time the party will explore the warehouse where Cephalosk is, maybe, and perhaps the druid's lost friend. We'll see. And we'll see if they survive what's coming. So until next time, see you later.